the one thing in wrestling is to get the crowd invested, right? That's what you want to do. You want to have the crowd buy in and be invested in the product. And I think that that's what it is. They're invested in the storytelling. They're invested in the characters, the character development. And I feel like while it's good to sometimes bring in an international and sometimes it can make sense to, you know what I mean? Like you can integrate into a story, but it's like sometimes maybe it's the point of you just bringing in a random person and then going, they're not really integrated in the story. They're not really integrated in like the next show or the show before. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, okay, cool. So the crowd gets to see this person wrestle, but like the progression of the storylines that they're seeing on a showly basis, it's not really tying into that. You know what I mean?
I think it comes back again to that, like the fact that everything's so much more accessible and that you have such a strong platform in social media now where like, I can remember going to a PCW show in 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
And it was Matt Silver, Buddy Matthews versus Danny Psycho. And at the start of the show, they played like a hype package that told like the story of the feud because there's no streaming website for me to watch this on. So I don't know. I've just seen that there's live wrestling on. So I've gone to the show. I've paid my money and I don't know who any of these guys are, right? Whereas now we can tell you a story on social media. Like I can have a match with someone where we set something up. And then in the 2 months between that and the next match, we can use social media to do promos, do vignettes, do whatever, where we can craft an entire story along the way. And a good portion of the fans will see it. You know, you want to make sure that you're still telling that story on the shows, but we have such an ability to tell you so much more. So to what you're saying is you can build a lot more of that investment now. Whereas, you know, like when I started going to local shows, and like I said, I didn't know who any of these people were because unless I'm going to go on their website, order their DVD, wait for the DVD to come in the mail, watch the DVD, and then hope that the roster looks anything like it did on this DVD to the show that I'm watching that happens like 6 months after that show, which I did. And plenty of times you were like, man, the guy that was champion on the DVD isn't even on the show. Where is he? Whereas now, you've got all these streaming services. So I feel like you're saying, you can build this investment with the crowd because even if they miss out on a show, they can still see what happens. They can follow along online. They can look at stories. They can watch the stream, whatever it might be. They can miss a show, but still keep up to date. So they're still in the loop. Whereas,
100%.
Once upon a time, it wasn't the case.
But you know what? Like, I feel like in a lot of ways, there's some people that really utilize social media so well for their promos. Like, you know what I mean? Like I pop huge for like, you know, Zuko who was on the podcast with BDE the other week. Him and his tag partner, I honestly believe do some of the best like fucking promos around. Like their stuff is always entertaining. Like it's never like overly too dramatic or anything like that. It's very lighthearted, but it's always entertaining. And it's like there's sometimes they're a little bit more serious, sometimes they're a little bit more funny, but they always have that entertaining value. Whereas like even from someone who, you know what I mean, like is like involved to a certain extent, can sit there and go, that's fucking good. I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. And that's kind of like, I feel like there's a few people in the Australian scene that really do promos well. And I feel like you're particularly one of them as well. Like as far as your deliverance in your promos and also what you put into them, I feel like you are one of the best promos in Australia, hands down.
Oh, thank you. I will blow smoke and say that I am also one of the best. I have no bones about it. I know it's my bread and butter. I know, you know, the old adult saying. But you're exactly right. There are certain people that like utilize it tremendously, right? Crackerjack is obviously one, you know. He's much like myself, have a strong part of what our brand is, which is these promos online, because they're not only just like, here's me talking about the wrestling match. It's how it looks, how it's edited, how it comes together, what's in the promo, like the whole package is an encapsulation of what this character is. If you've never seen Crackerjack before, go watch a promo. Now you know what Crackerjack is. Never seen Edward Dusk before, go and watch one of the promos. Now you know what Edward Dusk is. You might not know the full context to it, but just in that little 90-second snippet, you can grasp the whole concept of it. James Hartness over in Perth has started doing a really good job of utilizing like promos to convey the way that he's changing his character now. If you follow that stuff, like it's such an easy thing that you can utilize, especially if you can get like whatever promotion you're working for behind you to post it, on their channels and their pages.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy thing to do. Like you're saying, you see it and now you're invested and now you want to go see the show, whereas a lot of people will have a huge match, a great opportunity against an international opponent or a big name opponent or a championship match or a big match in their feud, et cetera, and all they can lend to it is sharing the match graphic on Instagram and going tonight. And it's like, you're in this big opportunity and the only thing that you can bring yourself to give to this is to go
tonight.
This is happening today. Like, obviously, the date's on the graphic. Like, that's why that's there, so people know. You don't want to like cut a promo because I don't know if a lot of people realize, but for most of us, right, the goal is signed, right?
Yeah.
To do this for a living, whether it's on the independents, whether it's on a WWE, AEW, Impact, right? But what you see on a lot of those people, what you see people do on all these platforms is cut promos. Matt Cardona is a great example, right? He's just working independence.
Example. Yeah, perfect example.
But for almost every match, every story, there's videos, there's promos, whether it's something he shoots backstage real quick or something that he puts money and time and production into, he's creating content, right? So you're up to date with everything he's doing. If you look on TV, you've got promos, you've got vignettes, you've got promo segments backstage, promo segments in ring, and you've got all these things that it's such a strong, huge portion of what we do. And yet so many people just go, nah, I won't do that. Yeah. Or, I didn't get asked to make one. I didn't get time to cut a promo. It's like, well, we'll just do it.
You like that, but I feel like that's one of those things where it's like you should, or like that's one of those things like you have in your control where it's like you might not be able to go and train and take bumps every day, but you can easily go and stand in front of a ring light or like, you know what I mean? And go record a promo or go and practice a promo and stuff like that. And even now, like with what I'm doing with Vinny Vane and Banks is like with our sort of stuff, we're trying to get together like before a show and do a promo, and then straight after the show, do a promo. So it's like, okay, what's next for us is what we cover in that next promo. And then we sort of have the build up to the next show. And then the end of that show, like what actually happened. So like telling the story each time that we're going out. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're trying to do.
And there's, and you can have people that might say like, maybe not, it's the company's fault. That's not the right phrasing, but you could make the argument that maybe promotion should make more of an effort to like get those things from people. And that's fine. Like, for instance, Wrestle Rampage, right? My second home. At the end of on the run sheet is a list of the promos that are needed. MCW do it as well. I'm sure other promotions do, but for the ones that I work for, on those run sheets at Rampage and MCW, there is promos from da 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 da, and you'll have for Rampage, it's the same guys that film the show. Yeah, they then come backstage afterwards and they have their list and they find everyone and get those promos recorded, so everyone can have the good quality recording footage ready to go. And MCW is the same, right? We've got our the production team there, and same thing. You go find them. There's a whole room dedicated. The ballroom stuff's a great example. Everyone did the tumble wheel ball promos. So you've got everyone coming in to do them. So they're there.